Jai Sadgurudev. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I welcome you all in this online rejuvenation session of Vihangam Yoga. Today's session is the first English online rejuvenation session of this year. By attending this session, you will be able to understand how to start your journey within yourself. So please stay focused till the end of this session. My name is Chandan Singh, and I am your host for today's session. On behalf of Vihangam Yoga Singapore team, we would like to extend our thanks to all the regular attendees of this session, all newcomers, and our team members and their family to grace the occasion. For those who are not aware of Vihangam Yoga, allow me to introduce you. Vihangam Yoga Organization is an NGO, a pioneer in yoga and advanced meditation training, uplifting the human life in all aspects. The organization was established in year 1924 by His Holiness Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, who discovered this wonderful meditation technique after 17 years of strenuous meditation practice. Today, under the guidance of present Sadguru, His Holiness Sri Swatantra Devji Maharaj, Vihangam Yoga has reached around 45 countries and has transformed life of more than 5 million disciples. Our international headquarters is situated on the bank of holy river called Ganga in Allahabad in India. Amidst global pandemic, Vihangam Yoga Singapore team has started daily online session of breathing exercises, pranayam, and Vihangam meditation, as well as online rejuvenation sessions in English as well as in Hindi. Coming to this online rejuvenation session, let's go over the agenda of today's session. It will take about 1 hour to complete. We will start the session by offering a prayer to the holy feet of Master, followed by a talk on the topic inner journey. We'll be introducing our speaker before the talk segment. We will be having question and answer segment as well, and our experts will be answering your questions if there is any. In closing part, there will be a closing prayer and the closing remark, and we will move to the daily meditation practice session of today, which is conducted by Vihangam Yoga Singapore team every day at 7 p.m. This is all about today's agenda, and before the session ends, you may have opportunity to ask questions based on today's discussion. So feel free to write in chat box or just wait for question and answer session at the end. We'll try our best to answer all your questions. Once again, I thank everyone for taking out some time and joining this online rejuvenation session. Now, let's move to the next segment to start our session. So the first, we are going to offer a welcome song and a small prayer for world peace and prosperity in the holy feet of Master and get blessings for this session. Prayer will be displayed on the screen in Hindi as well as in English. So I will request all to concentrate and focus in this session. Let's pray to Sadguru. Welcome song. आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर संत शुभागम आए अध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति सोम रस बरसाइए दोष दुर्गुण दूर करिके शुद्ध हंस बनाइए भेद गम गति ज्ञान गर्जन शक्ति द्वार हटाइए खुले द्वारा शब्द सागर भक्त जन अनवाइए जन सदा फल विश्व शिक्षक सान आन बचाइए। आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर, संत शुभागम आइए। Now let's move to Mangal Gan. विश्व शांति नाम मंगल, परम गुरु को ध्याये। वर्ग द्वंद्व शांति दूर कर, भाव भेद मिटाइए। सार्वभौम समष्टि सत्ता, ध्यात्म राज्य बनाइए। भेष भाषा भाव जग में, ज्ञान पर दर्शाइए। समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल, स्वर्ग भूमि बनाइए। विश्व शिक्षक जन सदा फल, नीति स्वर अपनाइए। विश्व शांति नाम मंगल, परम गुरु को ध्याइए। प्रेम से बोलिए सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय। So we have just finished the welcome song and small prayer for world peace and prosperity. Those who have just joined us, we welcome you and extend our thanks for joining the session. Now, let's move to the next segment, which is the talk. And the topic is inner journey. Our speaker for today's talk is Mr. Srinivas Patnaik ji. He is joining us from Singapore. He and his family in Singapore, as well as in India, is a regular practitioner of Vihangam meditation. And Srinivas ji is always available to take roles in satsang and other activities of Vihangam Yoga Sangha. He loves music, and we have heard him singing Swagat Gan, Mangal Gan, bhajans with music in our previous sessions. I welcome Srinivas ji and thank him for taking this opportunity to take the talk segment of today's session. On the topic, inner journey is a uniquely personal exploration, a voyage of discovery that each of us can make into our own particular life and circumstances, and into our own individuality and nature. Instead, what changes is our relationship to ourselves, to our life, and to others. So without wasting much time, I'll straight go to Srinivas ji and hand over the mic to him and the stage to him. Welcome, Srinivas ji. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Chandan ji. Jai Sadgurudev, everybody. As Chandan ji has already introduced me, I am Srinivas Patnaik, and I welcome you all to this online rejuvenation in English. And I would like to thank Vihangam Yoga Singapore for giving me this opportunity. I have been associated with Vihangam Yoga meditation for close to 3 years now, probably more. The fact that you took time out to be here on this session itself is a giant step towards the topic of this session, which is inner journey. In this available 30 minutes, I will only be able to create a very brief encounter into this vast topic, on which, frankly, I can speak for hours. I would have preferred it to be interactive, but in the interest of time, let's keep all the questions to the Q&A section at the end. So let's begin. I will, I had to prepare in a very short notice, so I don't have too many slides, but I will share. I have about 10 to 12 slides, which I will share now. Okay. Now, whenever I speak about inner engineering, inner journey, I have been confronted with a very simple retort. I'm sure your curious minds would by now have thought a few possible retorts. I don't need to delve into the past. I don't need to delve inside. I am good as I am. I only think about today, etc., etc. I mean, which is perfectly fine. It is the space in which everybody is at some stage. There's nothing wrong with it. Is there a state of ignorance? And someone did mention, we call it bliss, but ignorance is bliss. We have been saying this. Well, if there is a fire in your house at some corner of the house, would you like to ignore and remain in a state of bliss? Yes, you would probably be until you knew that there was a fire. The fire starts small and does give indication in the form of smoke or smell, whatever. And had you noticed it in the beginning, the fire could have caused less damage. It could have been controlled much faster. From my own personal experiences, I mean, I am a ship manager and a marine engineer by profession, and I used to work on ships. And with my own experience, I know that if any fire is investigated, there is always a culprit. Either a loose sparking plug or an overloaded electric socket, forgotten iron box, whatever. But there is always a root cause for this fire. Now, what if you had done a search of your home to find out all the possible areas that could enable such a fire and taken preventive measures in advance? Wouldn't that be better? I'm sure all of you would agree, and all of us do that. Likewise, inner journey that I'm going to talk about has to do with taking control measures in advance. To go delve inside you, a place which is generally unknown, you need to explore, discover. And to take any measures, you need to know what are the areas that may need to be tended to. Now, that brings me to the first answer. Why should I embark on inner journey? Well, I've also been confronted with a second question. How? I don't know how to go there. Before I tell you that, I must tell you one thing very at this stage itself. All the answers have been collectively placed in what we call the Encyclopedia of Spirituality, which is Swarved. As I go down with the this talk, I will take you on a more understandable path about what I mean. But Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj has already taken the journey for 17 years in the Himalayas and assimilated all that he learned into Svarved. Now, you don't have to go to Himalayas or understand what causes the fire in the plug. You need to know that an overloaded plug can catch fire. Mechanism is not that important. Now, I will just give a simple example right now with a small story of about a fleet of 100 cars that were produced in a car factory in one of the countries in Far East, to be more precise, in South Korea. In the year 2000, when the artificial intelligence and IT and other things started booming, the car maker felt the need to be prepared for a complete transformation of the car maker. And that 10 years later, what they are producing today may not be relevant and they may have to close down. In recent times, we have already seen several companies in the telecom close down. Nokia, I mean, that's not too long ago, BlackBerry. Now, what they did was each car was given something like a black box, like on the airplanes that we have, that recorded all the car functions and also artificially created new possibilities to feed back into the car CPU. That would make driving experience better for each driver separately. The owners of the 100 cars were told that such a device has been placed in the cars, and all the 100 cars were on trackers, so that even if they were sold to a new buyer, they could continue monitoring. 10 years later, exactly 10 years later, in the year 2010, all the available cars were brought back by the car maker at agreed prices, or in some cases, they gave replacements too. They could manage to get back only 66 of them. They found that 16 had met major accidents, 12 were untraceable, and 4 were lying in the backyard of some police station. They managed to retrieve the black boxes from all except the 4 untraceable ones, except the untraceable cars. Now, what do you think they were planning to do with this available data? It's simple: to make more advanced and better cars that would be suitable for the next generation, which they could implement in the next couple of years. We incorporate all the findings and redesign the whole thing. Now, you would be wondering, what has this story got to do with energy? It gives you a parallel. It has everything that has to do with it. So let me put this in the perspective. We as human beings have an inbuilt black box, which is our DNA, which stores all the information, including the basic design of how our body is constructed, how the kidney is constructed, how the heart is made, how the nose, legs are made. Our black box is far, far more superior than what was installed in those cars. And our black box redesigns and corrects things based on its own accumulated intelligence, gathered as we grow, and then gets transferred to the next generation when we procreate and create new human beings. Likewise, we are all of the I mean, including when this transfer happens, even genetic disorders get transferred, genetic benefits get transferred, and we all get these by inheritance from our parents. Oh, your son is so tall. Oh, actually, your parents are also tall. And I guess one of the grandparents must have been tall as well. Now, this is some conversation we hear quite often. I mean, even my son at the age of 14 has become quite tall, 6 foot. And I mean, generally, the moment they see them tall, they keep looking at the parents. Hey, who of you is tall? There is definitely a transfer. What I'm saying is that we all make, if we make a conscious effort, now what is there inside us? What is there inside us? Part of it is already programmed. Part of it is what we acquire. And if we make a conscious effort, to delve into, make a conscious effort of delving into, and figure out that we are the way we are, it will give you an access to make that change that you may feel is stuck on you. I have a few illustrations to just make this clear for you. If you see this picture here, this was how the cars were made earlier. This is how it is now. The robots are making the cars. The transition is happening. This is all stored in our inside us. The car, this old car, this is a new design car, right? Now, while living our lives on the day-to-day basis since our childhood, there's a lot of murk, there's a lot of dirt with all the good, bad, and ugly stuff that we are surrounded with. Now, satsang is a means to be surrounded, to be in a surrounding that is clean and hence add to the good. But this is just one area. And once again, thank you for being here. Now, if you were to clean up a glass of dirty water, all you need to do is let it remain still. Let it remain still. Whatever is there will settle down. Does decantation sound something familiar? So as human beings, we need to calm down. Allow all the dirt to settle. If we constantly keep disturbing the glass, it will take long. So I'm sure by now it's pretty clear why inner journey is so important, and how to commence that is being in a state of calmness. We have to start being in the state of calmness. Now, if you look at the slide, the calmness gives clarity of thought. Now, that's what the first stage of Vihangam meditation is all about. A still mind is only the beginning. It is a long journey. And you would definitely benefit and accelerate your journey if you use Svarveda as your manual. And use it as a guide for this blissful journey. Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj has already done a lot of hard work. He has has taken immense effort to write down everything in the form of dohas. And the beautiful part is that he has even written the explanation for each doha, so that you and me are not left to do our own interpretation. I sincerely encourage everybody to read the survey and the bhashya and understand the explanations clearly. Now I will take you back to the example of the cars which I had given earlier. What happens after the 10 years was done was taking into account all the information that was gathered. And then the information was then used to create something better. Now, likewise, in our lives, as we go forward, our mind, body, and soul, they are on a journey. We acquire through our senses whatever comes by. As I mentioned, all the good, bad, and ugly comes in. As we go towards in the journey of the pursuit of spirituality, it commences with the inner journey. As we commence, go ahead and we delve inside ourselves. Several things will get revealed, several things will become apparent, a level of calmness will set in life, things that otherwise would have disturbed you and me would suddenly stop disturbing. We will not feel that, we will not feel those frustrations, angers, and whatever that we were feeling. The whole perception will change as we get to know more of our inner self. And when we go forward, as we go forward towards what we would call, and this is an eternal truth, all of us have a destination at the end. We are going to depart from this life, all of us. And at the end, we all have to take a stock of what we have done, why we went through this phase of our life. To understand and to get our soul to move in the direction towards that Parabrahm or the Supreme Soul, we all need to go through this inner journey. As I said in the beginning, some may say, I'm not interested. Some feel that it is not required. Some have their own perspective, but whether you like it or not, we are all in the pursuit of inner journey without or with realizing. If we do it with realization, we will be able to advance to a definitely different level. And when we are at the moment where we have to be able to pass on all the information that we gathered from inside us to the Supreme. The Supreme allows us. And as Sadafal Devji Maharaj says in the beginning of the Svarved itself, that if you follow the Vihangam mark, I will take you to salvation. I will support your journey towards the salvation. At that point, there are several things that has been acquired by us, within us, that need to be revealed. Without that information, the next growth will not happen. Without going inside ourselves, we will not be able to know. We will not be able to know how to go to the next level. So inner journey commences with focusing on ourselves. Focusing commences with meditation. Now, Vihangam Yoga, if you have been reading the Svarved or have just got introduced to the Svarved, I'm just giving here in this slide, I've just mentioned a few samples. If you look at it, Mandal 3, chapter 1, it speaks about body and soul in 34 verses, 34 dohe. In Mandal 3, Adhyay 3, it speaks about the states of mind in 34 dohes. And likewise in chapter 7, in the same Mandal, making good use of human life. Now, Svarved deals with everything that has to do with how to proceed on your inner journey. I wouldn't like to make my own interpretations when I have such a wonderful encyclopedia of spirituality with me. The inner journey that we are speaking about is complete internalization of our own self. The process, the procedure is already there. All we need to do is commence with meditation practices, which we here in Vihangam, Singapore, it is done twice a day. On the weekdays, try 3 times a day. On weekends, also twice a day. Start. And I would once again sincerely encourage that you read this Svarved and do the meditation practices on a daily basis, at least once, if not all the sessions. I would also encourage you to visit the Vihangam Singapore website, which has abundance of knowledge and an information of what Vihangam Yoga Singapore is doing, and also gives an access to all that is happening worldwide. All who are involved in making all these activities available to you are very dedicated and do so with very selfless attitude and service to mankind. I must add here that your inner journey cannot be similar to mine. Each person has their own inner journey. So I can't go through your inner journey. You cannot go through my inner journey. It's what is stored inside us. It is what we have acquired over the years and generations. So it's for you to take the initiative and embark on your own inner journey. And once again, it all commences with calming yourself. You got to find it on your own. It's your very own. You got to know your inner core. And then at the end of your journey, you have to present it to our Supreme Maker, Parabrahm, when the opportunity comes. And in simple terms, if I to keep it simple and understandable, It gives him all the information that we give him, can assist him to create a better world for all of us. While we are on the journey towards the salvation, we have to better ourselves step by step. It is very much scientific. If you go through the Vihangam Yoga, the Dohe as verses as well, they are completely to assist you in the journey in your inner journey. Even if you go through the contents page of the Swarved, you will see that there is reference to what that particular chapter is about. Each adhyaya has its own name. The topic is mentioned for a day reference. You might either start reading from start to finish or choose to read what impacts you the most. And then continue reading the rest of it. The more you read, the more it reaches out to you. Now, in the end, I would like to conclude with only one important thing to say here is your inner journey is your own. Commence it. Commence it now. There are several questions, several doubts, several queries that will come to you, which you will be able to discover answers for yourself. Or to accelerate, please use what is written in the Swarved and continue to explore yourself. This slide shows about the 5 steps of meditation. We are still doing the first stage of meditation as we go forward. In the end, I would only request that you go on and explore your own self and utilize all that is available, all the available time in this life to better yourself. Jai Sadguru Dev. And if there are any questions, either me or we have Subhash ji here who can help you with the answers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Srinivas ji. The talk segment was very smooth. We were able to connect with you, and it was lovely to hear you after some time. Hope everyone in the session would have enjoyed as well. And I must say, the slides were wonderful. And as I mentioned in the start of this satsang, that this is our first online satsang of the year, and the whole preparation was done in less time. And I must congratulate you for that. The example of fire was wonderful. You spoke about the 17 years of strenuous journey of Swamiji and emphasized that we no need to go to Himalaya for self-realization. Swamiji has written everything about all his experiences in the book called Swarved. Swarved is encyclopedia of spirituality. Swarved is constitution of Vihangam yoga. And I will add one line from my side that just by reading few couplets of Swarved every day will help us in uplifting our spiritual journey and will uplift us as a human being. On behalf of all the listeners, I will extend my thanks to you for this wonderful talk. Hope to hear you again in our future sessions. Let's move to next segment of question and answer. If anyone has any question, any query, or wanted to ask, please unmute yourself and feel free to ask. We are here to assist you. You can also write your questions in the chat box and we'll pick up those questions and we'll answer. Any questions? Anybody have anything to ask? Okay, so I have received one question. So maybe Srinivas ji or anybody else who wanted to answer can help to answer. How Vihangam yoga can help in inner journey?
I would request Subhash ji to answer that question.
Thank you very much, first of all, Srinivas ji, for giving this wonderful delivery on inner journey. I think the Vihangam Yoga is something which people have to experience first, because without experiencing it, it's not a matter of speaking, it's not a matter of talking, it's not a matter of discussing things. Vihangam Yoga is something which has to be experienced. We're talking about inner journey. Swamiji has mentioned in Swarved, if you know Hindi, probably you will be able to understand what I'm saying. Swamiji has mentioned, Bahar bahar khojate, antar ki sudhi nahi, binu sadguru pao nahi, bhatak maro jagman. So when we're talking about inner journey, spiritual journey, who is actually taking this journey? When I say I am taking my journey, what is the meaning of I? Who is this I? As the Swarved couplet says, Bahar bahar khojte. We are finding everything outside. We are not trying to go inside. We are not, as Srinivas you mentioned, we have to take the initiative, our own initiative, to start the inner journey. Whatever we are doing, we are trying to do everything on the basis of our sense organs, everything on the basis of mind, everything on the basis of just probably on the thought process. But we are not just the sense organs. We are not just the body. We are not just the mind. We are, I am, we are, we. I am, I. What this I is. So the inner journey, basically, first stage of inner journey is actually to realize and experience what this I is. Who am I? That is the very first milestone of the inner journey, to know what I am. But that I am cannot be found outside, because outside is altogether different. I am not outside. I am inside. Whatever is visible outside, it is just a way to live in this life, in this world. But in reality, I am inside. Inside means I'm not just talking about physically, biologically inside this body. There is a specific process. And that's why all the saints, rishis, munis, everyone is running after this to identify what this process is. What we are, we need to know what we are. The truth, the ultimate truth. How would that be known? This can only be known through Vihangam Yoga, only be known through the Sadguru. Swamiji says, Bin Sadguru Pavo nahi bhatki maro jagmahi. Means if you don't surrender yourself to the Sadguru, then you will not come to know the ultimate reality of yourself. You will continue your other journey of coming in this life, going out from this life, means taking birth and dying. This cycle will continue. The ultimate objective of inner journey, which Srinivas ji was mentioning, ultimate objective of the inner journey is to experience, to meet, to realize the Supreme Brahma. Who is going to realize that? Who is? Is my mind? Is my intellect? Is my body? Is my sense organ? Which entity of these are going to realize or meet that Parabrahma? None of these, because they don't have the reach to that entity. That entity has different characteristics. It's a conscious entity. Supreme Brahma is a conscious entity, and a conscious entity can only be experienced through a conscious entity. The mind, the body, the sense organs, the intellect, these are not the conscious entities. The conscious entity within us is only one, and that is myself, the soul itself, which we don't have any knowledge, which we don't know anything about. And the inner journey is first to reach to that level, to know that conscious level, the conscious me. And Vihangam Yoga can help you in a much more better, much more strategic, and much more robust way. That's what Sadhguru Siddhafal Devji Maharaj has set an example by saying everything in Swarved. He has proclaimed Adbhut Marg Yoga Vihangam, मैं तुमको बतलाऊंगा यदि विधिवत तुम साधन करी हो अमर लोक पहुंचाऊंगा. That's the ultimate aim for everyone. And Vihangam Yoga, Sadhguru Siddhafal Devji Maharaj, by his own presence, has said that I am there. Just take your first step. And I am there. And then again he said in Swarved, Bahar Bahar Kya Phiro, Khojo Ghat Guru Gyan, Chinta Manika, Tej Me Darshat Purusha Mahan. Again, he's saying there is nothing outside. There is nothing outside. Anything visible outside has a basis what you are inside. And we don't know what it is inside. Vihangam Yoga can help you through its, as Srinivasji mentioned, there are 5 stages of meditation. Meditation helps us to purify ourselves, to stabilize ourselves within ourselves, to reduce our disturbance outside. Right now, we are at the basis of mostly sense organs and body. Vihangam Yoga meditation can help you to shift your basis from the body and sense organ to yourself, the conscious yourself. That's the power of meditation and the blessings of Sadhguru. And from there onward, the further journey is towards the Supreme Being. That is very much possible by the meditation process prescribed by Sadhguru Siddhafal Devji Maharaj, which he himself has passed through. And he said that I am there to help you out. I am there to help you out. So one process to have the inner journey is the meditation. Meditation is a process. Second process is the seva, the service. Service to whom? Service to the master itself. The first pious service is to serve the master, because the master knows what is good, what is bad, what is the right thing, what is the wrong thing. If we are serving him, being under his guidance, then all the effort, wherever we are doing the service, will always be the right one. It has been seen at many places that people have been serving many things, many people, the nation, the society, and this and that and everything. But it doesn't turn out to be as satisfactory as it has to be, and it doesn't turn out to be always the right thing. Sadhguru helps us, and that's why serving the master, serving the Sadhguru is the second process to imbibe the inner journey, what we have. The churning is very much important. Just like as if we talk about, say, there is a henna, right? Henna is green from outside. The leaves of henna is green from outside. But once we churn it, it turns out to be the red. How does it happen? It is visible green, but we are able to see at one particular stage it as a red. And not just that, it leaves its mark as red also. Similarly, for us also, same thing happens. Whatever we are from outside, that's not the complete reality. Once we are churned, once the inner journey starts, don't think that the inner journey is a cakewalk. No, it's much more difficult what we do outside. So the inner journey, once we start, our churning will start, and then the real transformation starts happening. That's what Srinivasji has shown very nicely, the transformation of the cars, right? In the factory, the old cars are transformed into the new one. How? It's a process. Don't think that car is just painted very nicely and everything has been done without any friction, without any difficulty, without any abnormal situation. No, it is not. The car has to pass through the process of purification, the process of perfection. That's what Sadhguru does. That's what Vihangam Yoga does. And the third one is the Satsang. Why Satsang is important? Because unless and until we know what is the reality, what is the true knowledge, what is the Gyan, we would waste our time here and there. Some people say inner journey is something else. Some people will say something else. Why? Because we are far from the reality. That's why, as Srinivasji mentioned, whatever right now or whatever I am mentioning, our basis is completely what Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj has said, who has experienced each and everything on his own basis, and he has achieved the highest objective of the life. So we have a live example in front of us, and that live example is prepared for us to help. Where is it available anywhere else? I really want to know, where is it? Definitely there are people who are helping us, but where is the ultimate thing? Here, Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj has very clearly proclaimed and very clearly mentioned everything in Swarved. Just go and read it out. Just read it out, or even hear it, or even listen to it. Even if you don't understand Hindi, doesn't matter. These letters, words written in this book, Swarved, is at a level of samadhi. It has nothing to do with the language. These are the Moola mantra. These are the mantra. Once you hear these through your ear, it goes straight to your heart, straight, and it impacts thereafter. It purifies you. It channelizes you. It provides the energy to you. What else do we want to start with? So Vihangam Yoga is a process which actually can help you to start your inner journey. And that's why we have provided a platform to start at least the meditation as well as the satsang also. And we have provided the opportunity for the service also. All these things are not person-oriented. These are all to connect with the master itself. Why? Because Khojo Ghata Guru Gyan. The knowledge of the Guru has to be found by you within yourself, and you yourself have to connect with the master who will take you to the connection to the Supreme Being. And that's what the beauty of Vihangam Yoga. Thank you, Chandanji.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Subhashji. Thank you,
Subhashji.
Subhashji, for the answer.
Yeah. This was a really wonderful explanation connecting with Swarved and Vihangam Yoga, talking about the concepts. It truly clears the doubt of everyone's mind. Thank you so much once again. Now let's quickly move to our next segment, which is Santi part. We are near to the end of this session, and now we'll be offering a closing prayer, which is called Santi part. At the current situation where whole world is suffering from the global pandemic, we'll pray to Sadhguru for the peace of the whole world. To offer this prayer in Holy Feet of Master, I would like to invite very young practitioner who is joining us from Singapore, Master Pranav. He is still in his primary education and a regular practitioner of Vihangam Yoga meditation, and most importantly, he's a quick learner. At this age, he loves to read Swarved, take roles in satsang, is one of the remarkable thing for all of us. I congratulate Mr. Pranav for this dedication, and also to the parents, Omji and Bhavnaji, for this kind of upbringing. Both of you are an ideal for all of us. Thanks, Pranav, for your participation in this satsang. Over to you for the Santi part.
जय सद्गुरुदेव. शांति पाठ. वेरा हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांतिमय शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांतिमय शांति. हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति. देव सदा फल शांतिमय, Shanti, Shanti, Sukha, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Sukha, Shanti. Jai Sadgurudev.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Pranav, for Shanti part. Wish you all the best and be a role model for Vihangam Yoga. Now moving to our last segment of today's session, the closing remarks. Now we are at end of the session, and for closing remark, I would like to invite Subhasji. He is joining us from Singapore and need no introduction. Still, I would like to say that he is the main pillar of Vihangam Yoga Singapore team, a long-term practitioner of Vihangam meditation and authorized trainer of Vihangam meditation. He is also co-founder of Vihangam Yoga Singapore, and most importantly, he is a true disciple of Swamiji. His life is an inspirational journey for all of us who is always showing path of Vihangam Yoga to us. A truly dedicated, highly inspired, super energetic, a true leader who leads from the front, and the best person whom I have ever met in my life. Thank you so much, Subhaji, for joining us. Let's take us through the last segment of today's session with your closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Chandanji. So we are now at the end of this wonderful satsang, wonderful rejuvenation session where we were discussing inner journey. I would like to thank, first of all, Chandanji for taking the role as the host, and then Srinivasji for taking us through the inner journey based on his own experience, where the basis was, of course, Swarved. The inner journey, the main objective, as we were discussing, is to experience the Supreme Being. This is not our real home. What Swamiji has said, Agama pantha manathir bhaya surati nirati paravesh chetana hansa swarupa se पहुंचे अपने देश. What is apne desh? Apne desh means the origin of ourself, and that is nothing else than the Supreme Brahma, the Parabrahma. We have to go back to our original place. Here we are just moving here and there from one life to another. And that's not the inner journey. The inner journey will take us from within ourselves to come to the conscious state, to move towards the supreme conscious state. That's what Srinivasji was explaining, that the conscious effort is very, very important. Everything has already been programmed. Everything is there. We are what we are, but we need to know what we are and how to progress from there onward. Our first initiative at our own level is very, very important, and that's why we have to discover ourselves with our own effort. And that's what is about inner journey, and Vihangam Yoga can help us at each and every single step, at each and every single stage. Srinivasji also mentioned about the inner core journey. The 5 stages of Vihangam meditation brings us, escalates us, or uplifts us from one stage to another. There are so many things to speak about, as Srinivasji mentioned, but on the basis of time, we have to restrict ourselves. And that's what Vihangam Yoga also says, that it's not about discussion. Vihangam Yoga process is not about discussion. It's more about the experience. And that's why we are moving towards the experiential side. We are going to start very soon now, just in 1 minute, the meditation session as usual for the 30 minutes. And on that basis here, I'd like to close the satsang, which we started almost an hour back. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Stay tuned for our daily meditation practice. Thank you. Jai Sadgurudev.